Hello, welcome to this Tarkov guide on making out-of-raid income. Now there's lots of YouTube content on various loot runs and how to play the game once you're in a raid. But there's not too much content on kind of how to increase your income outside of the raid. And with 0.12 releasing almost 2 months ago, there's tons more ways to do that. It is, however, like a pretty heavy topic, though. It has lots of aspects on kind of how to do that. This episode is really just to give you an introduction on various tips and tricks to make money outside of the raid. If you like it, let me know in the comments. I can make more content like this. But anyways, I want to preface this video with one extremely important piece of information. I am real bad at first-person shooter games. I die a lot. And yeah, I don't know. Despite that, though, I found a lot of success kind of outside of the raid, and therefore it's helped me significantly in terms of how I can play the game in a raid, because now I can come in with basically whatever I want. So the fact that I'm not a great player in terms of first-person shooter games, it might surprise you when I switch to my inventory screen here. So taking a cursory look here, we can see that we've got 120 million rubles here, got 167,000 euros, $270,000, a couple containers here, some ammo cases, sick cases, dog tag cases, and then some junk boxes. I think the thing to highlight here is the junk boxes. They seemingly have just kind of random items in there. Each one of these items are on my wish list, and I kind of internally know a threshold at which I buy them, because then I use those items to barter and then flip those for more money on the auction house. So I'm not going to go into each one of these items and as to why they are in my scav jump box. I might go over a couple of them, but I just want to give you guys some kind of general guiding principles on why I kind of chose these items potentially, and what my thought process is around that. Like, why is this ADAR here? That's a random item to be in my inventory. And a couple adrenalines, gas station keys. Like, I don't know why those are here. Well, I do, but maybe you guys don't. And that's okay. That's what we're here to figure out, and kind of why these random things might appear in my inventory. So I do have yet another disclaimer. This disclaimer is that I do have the Edge of Darkness edition. So the Edge of Darkness edition is helpful in a lot of ways towards kind of how you can make money on the flea market, and insofar as the Edge of Darkness account gives you additional trader reputation. So that will help you unlock those different trader reputations, or trader levels rather, which will then allow you to trade some trades at higher margins. So the Edge of Darkness is super helpful in terms of that, but that doesn't mean you can't use the things that I'm going to say here in this video. If you do have a standard account, it's just going to be slower, just like everything else is with your progression. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Edge of Darkness is just kind of a pay for a head start type of thing. Yeah. Anyways, I do encourage anyone that's interested in the game to get that Edge of Darkness edition, though, just to, if nothing else, just to support the developers, because, just a shout out to Battlestate Games here. I think they have made a wonderful game that continues to surprise me each and every day, and I think the findings that I've had on the flea market just reinforce that. Like, I thought this was a first-person shooter game, but it's so much more than that. It's become kind of this almost economic simulation game for me, especially with all these kind of wild card changes that Nikita's thrown out there. It makes it really fun to kind of learn the different various nuances and subtleties of this market, and ultimately exploit it and try to make as much money as possible. That's what I've been doing, at least, and I'm probably not the only one. I'm sure there's probably people out there that are far richer than even I am. I just know that I've found some success, and I've heard a lot of people out there that are struggling, so I really wanted to kind of share some things that will help you guys outside of raid to help you in the raid. Alright, so moving on to the actual content of kind of what my thought process is and what I do to kind of make money. I'm just going to go into kind of the dealer's trading screen here. There's a couple important things to note here. The first thing to note here is that each of these traders have a cooldown, right? So each the Peacekeepers right now is at 1 hour and 41 minutes, Mechanics is at 33 minutes, and so on and so forth. Each of these traders have their own internal cooldown when they can reset and offer you more goods and services. So each one of these traders, depending on which level you have them unlocked, right now I have all of my traders at level 4 loyalty level, I am level 40, so I have a lot more options in which I can purchase things from them and then go ahead and flip those onto the flea market. But starting at level 5, you guys have trades available to you. I just want to show you guys that that it is important to kind of notice that these cooldowns exist and how often you can kind of flip goods for a particular trader. So just to give you a basic example of what I mean by that and kind of how I figured out which different trades are good. One of the most important things that you can do is you can click on this little barter items tab right here, right? And then depending on which trader level you have unlocked, I have them all unlocked, but say you only had Prapper level 1, you'd still be able to see what can I barter for Prapper. And then you can see here that Prapper offers this Mosin for 2D batteries and 4 AA batteries, and it's got a scope on it. So I don't know if this one actually is profitable. I don't know what AA batteries and D batteries are selling for right now, but it's something that you could investigate. I know that this one, however, this trade for me has always been pretty consistent. You can see I've already actually bought it for this rotation. So even in my millions of monies here, I'm still buying this AKM because I know this is a guaranteed profit for me. So you can see that it costs 3 Tushanka. And then let's see what those Tushanka are selling for on the auction house right now. So these cans of beef stew, they're actually less than 10,000. You can see that they're all less than 10,000. My particular threshold for this is I don't buy them for less than 9,000. I probably have like 10 to 15 or so in my stockpile right now, my food case. But I don't buy these unless they're 9,000 or less. But depending on how desperate you are for money, you can still make profit on these upwards of 11K if you buy a can of beef stew. And the reason for that is you can just check it out. The AKM rifle, let's see here, I think it's this one. You can see the cheapest one right now is going for 38,000, and this one doesn't even have a buttstock on it, and it's selling for 40,000. I guarantee you this one will sell it too. It doesn't even have a buttstock. So you sell a full one, even if you undercut the market, you can place it on sale for 37,900, and all it cost you was 3 Tushanka, which if you're buying for less than 9K, which you can often find them for that, that's a 11,000 ruple profit. Essentially just picking up something in raid that costs 11,000 ruples, you're doing the exact same thing by just flipping this one item. And then you can do that every time Prapper resets. So that's one of the trades that's actually available at level 5 that I still do to this day. Is just trade these 3 Tushanka for this AKM. So we look back here at the trade screen. We can see that what I was talking about with the AKM and the Tushanka, that I only bought. That was the last one that I could buy from Prapper for this particular cooldown, right? So as soon as this 9 minutes elapse, right now it says you have bought the maximum amount of this item in the current restock. As soon as this 9 minutes elapse, I should be able to buy one more of these, and then I'll be able to flip that on the market as well. So, yeah, so just know that each one of these traders kind of has their own good deals, if you will, where the barter items will consistently sell for lower than the ability to flip them on the market. Yeah, you just need to do some investigation. This is where that knowledge is power thing comes into play. But this will really help you out in kind of figuring that out, is just going to the trader and then clicking on that barter tab to see kind of what barters are available to you, and then going by loyalty level. The further up you get in the loyalty levels, the better the flip will be. But that's not to say that you can't find great bargains like this AKM bargain at the lower loyalty levels. So as you increase in your loyalty levels and in your traders, there is one more thing to kind of take note of. As you unlock these loyalty levels, there will be different things that you can buy on cooldown for just ruples and dollars for your base currency value. So I'm going to take Peacekeeper, for example, because he does actually have a level 1 trade. As soon as you have him, as soon as he's unlocked, which he's unlocked at the start of the game, you can actually buy these aim point micro T1 reflex sights. And you can see here that you can buy 5 of them for $145 each. This is an item that can vary based on how many people are online and how many people are playing. Like if it's a hot Friday night, lots of people are playing the game, then these will sell like hotcakes. And oftentimes you will be able to sell this for, I won't say significantly more, but definitely more than the amount that you're paying here through Peacekeeper. So if we look right now, so right now is I'm recording this on Saturday. at 1:30, so it's arguably whether it's hot or not, and it's an hour and a half into Peacekeeper's cooldown. Let's just take a look at the price of what an aim point micro T1 reflex is. So I'm just going to go to the flea market here. It does happen to be on my wish list, so I'm just going to look here on my wish list, go down to the aim point micro T1 reflex site. So right now they're not that great, but as a savvy investor, I do know that these particular items are selling for less than what Peacekeeper is selling for them. And I know historically, I've always, at least at some point in the rotation of the cooldown, have made a profit off of Peacekeeper. So I'm going to go ahead and just buy these 3 scopes. I'm not going to buy these just because I can always buy these whenever I want to based on the cooldown. I'm just going to buy the ones that are cheaper because I'll never have access to those again. And I know I will, in the future at some point, it might not happen for a while, I will sell those for more than I purchased them for. Now, if you can't swing that temporary money, I would suggest you not do that. But this is just because I have a kind of an intimate knowledge of how the market works around the aim point micro T1 reflex site. So I know that these eventually will spike on a Friday night to about 18 to 19,000 rubles. So what I just bought, I got a 6,000 ruble gain for them. I just won't see that for probably another time until like actually tonight. Tonight I'll probably see them sell for around 18 to 19. Maybe they'll sell for 16 or 17, but even at that point, I would still make a 2,000 or 3,000 ruble profit just by clicking on purchase and accepting those purchases. So this is one of those items where it will not always pan out. You won't always at every time of the day be able to sell the aim points for a profit. But if you keep an eye out for this one at hot times during when people play a lot, this will often spike to 17 or 18,000. And this is what I'm kind of talking about with the whole knowledge is power thing. There's a lot of facts that I just pointed out about this one micro T1 reflex site that probably a lot of people aren't aware of or didn't know about. But because I know about that, I've been able to make a decent amount of money just off this one item. And I kind of have that knowledge about most of these items on this wish list. In fact, every single one of these items on this wish list is there because I specifically did research and I trade around just these items. Everything that I trade around and flip, it's centered around these items. There's a couple that are tertiary to this list, but most of everything that I flip is off of this wish list. So as you gain more knowledge and as you develop your sense of kind of what things are valued at where, you can then start to just add more and more to your wish list. You know, it'll start off very, very small. Like when I first started this wipe, you know, I had like 2 or 3 things on my wish list. And then as I unlocked more traders, as more things were available to me, as I investigated more and learned more about the market, learned more about what's required of the hideout, I continued and started to add more things and more items here. See which barters consistently netted me greater and greater profits. I would go ahead and add those things. And then so it's a dynamic list as well. So as things become less profitable, so like one of the ones that, for example, on my list right now is about to not make the cut is this APSX ammo. This has consistently not been as profitable for me. I've seen that there's been lower and lower margins on this ammo, but then it does spike sometimes. Like right now at 13 minutes left of this wipe, there's still only like, you know, this 50 ruble margin per unit of sold here. And you know, what I'm trying to say here is that this is a constantly curated list. Like as items get devalued, or as, you know, even Nikita changes things in the system, this wish list will morph and kind of change into various other formats. So this is meant to be kind of a dynamic list. If you're playing the playstyle of the economy like I am, you want to kind of always update, remove, and add stuff to this list as you see opportunities either degrade or upgrade. So another thing that I want to mention here is that these cooldowns that these traders have, they are universally shared. They're shared between all the players of Tarkov, and that's globally. So of this hour and 11 minutes that I have on cooldown, in which I can buy those reflex sites again, would be the same hour and 10 minutes that another player has before they can buy their reflex sites again. So as so Prapper, for example, he just cooled down. Everyone would be able to buy this AKM again. So like, just like I can buy this AKM again, everyone else can buy this AKM again. So the market might get flooded when a dealer first cools down, right? So you might want to avoid putting your goods on sale until this cooldown is closer to where Ragman is or where Peacekeeper is, where there's not at much more people have already purchased those items and therefore cannot flip them. And so in those cases, that's better to sell them at these periods of times, the hour left or the 10 minutes left, versus the 2 hours and 41 minutes left, because then everyone has the ability to kind of purchase those items right now. So the idea is, I think the optimal threshold is probably around 30 minutes. 15 minutes doesn't necessarily give you enough time to put your goods on sale and actually get them through. But I found that a good threshold for me was around the 30-minute mark, where demand is pretty good at the 30-minute mark still, and no one's going to wait 30 minutes to actually wait for the cooldown to buy those items again. So I found that 30 minutes was a good threshold for me in terms of the optimal sale time for any particular vendor. All right, so what does all this kind of look like in practice? Probably I would just go straight to the flea market. I might take a look here at the traders, see if there's any like 30-minute thresholds here, and figure out, if there's any hot times to sell right now. But other than that, I would just go straight to the flea market, and I would just go straight down my wish list. So in practice, I'll just do like the first 5 or so. I'll take a look at this 0.6 liter water bottle. So this has been a new one that just got added to my list. It's been kind of a teetering one, but we can see here that there's a whole bunch of bottles of water being sold for under what Therapist is even paying for it. So there was a time about 3 or 4 nights ago that water spiked up to about 15K a bottle, and it might do that towards the end of Therapist's cooldown here. And in fact, it might be smart to just even buy these bottles of water while they're under the price, and then just put them on the market right here, starting at $12.99, and that might just work out. I won't do that for now. I'm just going to see how this kind of pans out for a little bit longer. This has been a relatively new development, so I got to watch this one a little bit before I can actually start investing heavily. And it's a lot easier for me because I have 30 offers to kind of be flexible in that area. So if you're sitting there with just 3 offers, you got to weigh these checks and balances a little bit more heavier than I do, and make sure that you're not holding on to these offers too long. Because when you only have 3 of them, you generally want to go for just max throughput. So trying to get your items off of that flea market as soon as possible. So sometimes undercutting more than you have to, maybe. So, yep, like I said, I would just go down this list. It looks like mechanics almost expiring, but, I will just go ahead and buy these 3. If nothing else, I can get 3 more for the next restock and sell them at the same price. So I'll just go ahead and sell these now. They might not sell. This is the problem with kind of selling them when there's only like 5 minutes left, is as soon as this 5.5 minutes expires, a whole bunch of people are just going to see that. They can buy these again, buy these 100-round magazines, and put more up on the market. Yep. And a lot of these trades that you guys are going to see, you might not have access to. But like I said, this is a list that grew from like literally 1 or 2 items at the beginning of this wipe, and it's now grown into kind of this whole thing. I can go ahead and post this wish list in my comments or in my description. I don't know how helpful that'll be because there's a lot of kind of context surrounding each of these items. But yeah, we can get into more nitty-gritty stuff in future videos and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the general gist of it. You do more research. Wow, look at all these shotgun. These are usually not selling for this high, and I wonder why that is. Must be popular tonight. These shotgun, the Ash 12 magazines. I'll just go ahead and buy 5 of those as well. Drop that into the market. All right, what was that price? $29,500. I'll go ahead and sell these for $27,900. Do that. Oh yeah, we never answered the question about the ADAR and the adrenaline or the gas station key. So the easiest one to explain is the gas station key here. If you take a look at that one, let's see, what is it called? It's called the cabinet key. So if we look at my wish list, look at cabinet key. Yeah, the reason why I had 3 of those is because 3 of them were at 7,000 and 8,000 rupees, and you can actually just vendor these to the therapist for 8,816. So even the ones that are up there currently, I could just buy these and get immediate profit. Let's see, where was that at again? Cabinet key. Yeah, so like this, I could just buy this and sell it straight to therapists. It's going to give me money just because I can sell it for more than 8,500. So we go here. And again, I mean, it's a tiny amount of money, but all this stuff kind of adds up over time. And that's why it's on my wish list, because you'll often see those keys for like 7,500 or 7,000. Sometimes they really get lowballed at like 3,000, and then you're just making 5,000 for just buying that key. Just a simple click away because it's on the wish list. The other ones, let's see here. The 8R, that's because Skier, also this is a great level 5 trade. You can get one 8R for one rechargeable battery. These are generally like, I don't know, 15K or so on the auction house. You can trade that for an 8R. Go ahead and pick that 8R up. I can actually buy another one here. I haven't bought this restock yet. And now I can sell 2 of these 8Rs. Let's see what the going price is. Remember, rechargeable batteries are around, 15K or so. And then for one of these fully usable 8Rs, you can sell, I mean, you see this one's being undercut by 6,000 here. I can probably put these up for 27,000 and get away with it. Yep, something like that. That'll probably sell as well. And that right there, I probably paid 15K for the rechargeable batteries. That's 12K each on those 8Rs. And you can start doing that at level 5 as well. Also, just a cheap way to get an 8R. If you need a weapon for a raid, pick up a rechargeable battery. That'll get you an 8R straight away. It's not the best one, but it's about as good as you're gonna get off of a scab as well. So yeah, like look, so there's this rechargeable battery for 14K. That's a great deal for an 8R that I can use right away. Of course, some people pay this amount of money just to get a pistol. You can get a whole 8R for that. So that's a great deal in and of itself, just if you need a gun. Let's see, what was the last thing here in the inventory that was kind of weird? We had the adrenaline. Same thing here. People just there's so many of these items on this list are just items that if you just immediately vendor the ones to the appropriate places, they're just going to net you more money. And that's the same with all the injectors. So I have most of the injectors on my list because they'll generally go under a certain threshold, and that threshold is what the vendors will sell them for. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, everyone.